everybody. I see you coming on. This is wonderful. Oh, so go ahead and start chatting. And when you chat, be sure that your chat is aimed at all attendees so that it doesn't just go out to me, so that it goes out to everybody. And oh, hi, Naomi. Hi, Barbara. Oh, so glad to see you. So chat and tell us where you're from. And I just love seeing that. Hi, Naomi. She says hi to everybody. Oh, so another amazing, hi, Rebecca. Another amazing day. Another beautiful day in Sedona. Although, yes, Richard, it is. Oh, Sean. Sean's on. Sean just decided this morning to go on next year's Peru trip. She and I have been emailing already this morning. I'm so excited that she's going to do that. She just finished her soul adventure and had an amazing, incredible time. People from Atlanta, hi. Good. So somebody from LA, wonderful. Hi, Teresa from Simi, nice. Hi, Patty. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm Deborah Stengel. I think most of you know that by now. I'm Deborah Stengel, founder of Sedona Soul Adventures, and I am so glad that you are here with us today for our masterclass. This is going to be a fantastic masterclass, How to Live an Enchanted Life. Isn't that just even a wonderful title? I mean, it just makes you want to do it. Just even the thought of it. So I have two announcements that I want to do before we start with our wonderful masterclass. And the first is we're going to take a little break for the rest of August, kind of take a summer break, and we'll come back after Labor Day with the master classes. And we have new, even bigger and really wonderful things that we're going to be doing in the master classes. So going to do this little summer break for the rest of August, and we'll be back with you. So watch the newsletter and watch your notifications that you get to let you know what's going on with the master classes. But we will be back and after we take a little break. Then the second announcement, oh my gosh, here's somebody from the UK. I love that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't our modern world just so incredible? I feel every time I get on here, every time I'm on Zoom or talking to somebody on Zoom, it feels like the Jetsons, you know? I mean, I grew up with that show, and this just feels like we are in such literally such an incredible new world. So the other announcement that I am going to tell you is tomorrow in the newsletter, we are announcing our next trip to Egypt, our next return to Egypt trip, which is going to be February 15th through the 28th, 2021. And I'll tell you, I've been waiting for 2 months to announce the trip. And I was waiting for, you know, all the crazy to die down in the world. And it's like, you know, it's not. And then suddenly, a week ago, I had the realization of, wait a minute, it's safer to be in Egypt right now than it is to be in the United States. I mean, their numbers are tiny compared to us. Plus, they have not blocked Americans from coming in like places in Europe and other countries have done. The Egyptians love Americans. We have such a long-standing relationship with them for decades and decades. And so it was so interesting, and I talk about this in the newsletter tomorrow, that it was like the minute I decided, okay, I'm doing it, literally, I am not kidding, within a few hours, a woman from Michigan who has never connected with us before, she doesn't get the newsletter, she has no idea who I am, she just found the trip on the internet, and she called me and said, are you doing the trip? I want to go. And she placed her deposit right then, and I thought, okay, here's a sign from the universe that I'm supposed to do that. And literally within a few more hours, I got a phone call from someone who had just finished their soul adventure, and she was calling to tell me how fabulous it was and how it has changed her life. And all of a sudden she said, "Are you doing the Egypt trip? I want to go." And I said, "Okay, universe, I get it, that I'm supposed to do it." So we're announcing it tomorrow. It is going to be an amazing, incredible trip as ever. This is my 21st trip to Egypt. I started going to Egypt in 1983. This is such an incredible, fantastic trip. And so I want to let you know about it because I'm pretty positive it's going to sell out. The trip this year in February of this year sold out in 3 weeks. And I think so many people are wanting to, you know, have something they can look forward to, that they can, you know, think about and dream about. So it's in February of 2021, February 15th through the 28th. Any deposit that you make is going to be completely refundable up until December 14th, because, you know, if anything happens, we just want to be able to make sure that everybody is taken care of. And so I really, really, really believe that this trip is going to happen. I know it's going to be fabulous. So I wanted to tell you guys about it because I do think that the trip is going to sell out. And I know that it is going to be amazing. So let's go ahead, settle in, get ready for a wonderful, wonderful masterclass. And I want to introduce another of our amazing practitioners, Rhianne Newland, she is a wise woman. She's an artist, an author, a teacher, a spiritual counselor. She's worked with people for over 30 years, with people from all over the world. She is especially gifted at sharing the beauty and the spiritual power of the sacred feminine, which, remember, you men out there, we all have the feminine and the masculine, and it's the blend of that is so amazing. So it's so interesting to me because Rhianne is a certified clinical hypnotherapist. She's an energy worker. She's actually an ordained priestess. She has also created this very unique divination, counseling, and teaching system called the Enchanted Heart Wisdom Oracle. She does that with our clients. I have done it with her. It's an amazing and fun process. And I guess the most wonderful thing that I can say about Rhianne, and I mean, I have known Rhianne for 20 years. And I think the most amazing thing that I can say about her is something I was thinking about last night, which is she actually lives an enchanted life. I mean, she really totally does. And Richard and I, she's laughing, Richard and I were talking about that last night, because you're like this little sprite, you know, but just the whole way that you live your life, you do live an enchanted life. So you are absolutely perfect for doing this masterclass today. Aww. So Rhianne, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're with us.
And I am thrilled to be here. Thank you so much too for that wonderful introduction. And yes, I am now living an enchanted life that is sweet and loving and kind and gracious and healthy. And this was my dream. And of course, it wasn't always that way. And so I want to share with you some of the things I've learned. I had so much that I wanted to share. I was up half the night, and then I woke up early this morning thinking, oh, I want to share this and I want to share that. And there's no way for me to share everything. So I'm going to try and just give you some tidbits, some beautiful essences of what an enchanted life is and some of the qualities of an enchanted life, and how you might bring more enchantment into your world. And I wanted to start out, one of the things that I did wake up with this morning is I got this vision of this movie that was supposed to be a children's movie, and I don't know if you remember it, but it was called The Never-Ending Story. And in The Never-Ending Story, there's this little boy that rides this creature that looks like a dragon with a big lion's head. And he's the hero of the story. And he ends up in this land called Fantasia. And in Fantasia, there's something happening. There's some kind of a darkness that's overcoming the land. And it's creeping in, and everywhere it goes, it destroys the land. And if the people are touched by this darkness, then something in them dies. And it's called the Great Nothing. And I call it disenchantment. And it's something that we don't talk about much in the world right now, is disenchantment. But I think my road to enchantment came because I realized that I was disenchanted. And perhaps the underpinning of so much of what's going on in the world right now is that we are disenchanted, which means that it's a great opportunity for us to become re-enchanted. And so that is my prayer, my desire for all of you, is that you will be able to re-enchant your lives and find the beauty and the blessings that such a life contains. And so I would like to start out by offering an intention, and I invite you to make the intention with me. And so I would invite you to get comfortable if you can. Close your eyes if you're not in a car or someplace where you can't close your eyes. And put your hands over your heart. And I'm going to set an intention for all of us to take a magical journey. And this magical journey is to enter a realm of beauty, magic, and clarity. And to do that, I'd like to envision that you focus your energy now on your heart. And see it as being bright and healthy and radiating out into the space around you, creating a beautiful energy field of crystalline rainbow light. And in that light, you see this beautiful pattern that is starting to form. It's a beautiful design. And it is forming all around you and through you. And this is your divine design. This is the pattern of your divine blueprint. This is who you are designed to be at your essence as a soul. And now, from this place of alignment with your soul, we are going to conduct our time together. And you are going to re-enchant your world. Because part of enchantment is realigning with your divine design, with becoming who you really are meant to be. Because this, to me, is what an enchanted life is about. Conducting your life from a centered, connected place of grace and alignment with the song of your soul. And the word enchantment contains the word chant. And to chant is to sing. And so to sing the song of your soul, to let that ring out, is one of the things that brings us to an enchanted life. And so we are going to sing the song of our souls today. So, what is an enchanted life? What are the qualities that an enchanted life contains? So, an enchanted life is founded on a vivid sense of belongingness to a rich and multi-layered world in a profound, wholehearted participation with the adventure of life. An enchanted life is diving in to what you love, what brings you joy, what brings you beauty. And there are some things that I wonder if you are longing for. I imagine that you might be ready for change in your life, to be uplifted and upgraded and inspired, delighted, healed, re-enchanted. And right now, I'd like to tune in more to moving away from my notes and just connecting more with you. So I'd like to tell you a story about what really brought me to my enchanted life. And I think I had created what many people think a good life is. I had created my home and my husband, and we had all the things that make for a good life. And yet I was aware that there was a hunger inside of me, that there was a longing for something that I couldn't name, that I didn't really know. But as I thought about it, I realized that what I was missing was the magic. I wondered what had happened to the magic of life. Everybody was so busy and wanting to rush around so much. And there didn't seem to be much time for play, much time for nourishing and nurturing. And so I wanted to know, how do you get the magic back in life? How do you find that? And so there was a hike that I used to take every day. And it was behind my house in Sedona. And it was up to the heart center of Sedona, to a rock called Sugarloaf. And so one day at sunset, I climbed up that rock. It was a pretty good hike too. And in those days, 35 years ago, the community wasn't very well developed, and it was just a magnificent view. You could see Bell Rock and Cathedral and Courthouse and Chimney Rock and the forest and the incredible sunset. And if you've ever been to Sedona during a sunset, you know there's nothing more magnificent than the Sedona sunsets. And I stood there on the top of Sugarloaf, and I called out. I didn't know who I was calling out to, God, the universe. Please, I want the magic back in my life. And I will do anything to have it. And I just stood there, just open and receptive and surrendered in a way that I had never been before. And then a miracle happened. And from deep inside of me, I heard a voice of compassion and nurturing and wisdom and beauty, a voice that was deep and powerful yet incredibly kind. And it was very feminine, this voice. And I just knew intuitively that it was the voice of the Great Mother. It was the voice of the goddess. It was the voice of the divine feminine. And she said to me, I can help you restore the magic to your life if you'll follow my guidance and do what I say. And in that moment, there was something in me that didn't even question that I wouldn't follow her guidance, that this was a key. This was something that I needed to follow with all my heart. And so I said, yes. Yes, I will follow your guidance. Whatever you tell me to do to bring the magic back in my life, I will do it. And so she said, I want you to gather your women friends together and create a group and have them come over to your house to play. And I said, well, what are we going to do? And she said, I will guide you to what you will do. And so I said, yes, I'll do it. So I ran down the mountain with more enthusiasm than I'd had for a long time. And I called my friends and I invited them to my home. And I began, and I created a sacred ceremony for the first time in my life, guided by the goddess. And when I sat down with that group of women in that sacred circle, with this incredible magical energy coming in, I knew that this was one of the elements that I had been missing in my life, is being with people in an intimate, sacred way. And that was 34 years ago. And the feminine, the divine feminine, the wisdom and the beauty of her, her incredible support, that inner guidance, has been with me ever since and guided me every step of the way. And so the first key that I want to offer to you for a simply enchanted life is to connect to the divine feminine, connect to the sacred feminine within you. And whether you're a man or you're a woman, we all have connection to the feminine. Whether we're a man or woman, we all are connected to the mother who births us, who creates us. So how do we do that? Well, you invite her in. And so the experience of being with the sacred feminine is so precious. And it's one of the foundations, I feel, of having an enchanted life and re-enchanting our world. And I wonder if any one of you, have you had experiences bringing the divine feminine into your life? You know, is it something that you're in touch with? Is it something that's moved you? Have you had a special experience, or do you have a feeling about how important it is at this time for us to connect to the feminine energy? And I would be open to your comments. If anyone wants to raise your hand and share, it would be great. And right now, as you do that, I just want you to know that there is a wave that is coming over the world right now that is huge, with a resurgence of honoring of the feminine, of groups and teachings and books, and so many things that are rising right now, so that the sacred feminine can find her rightful place and bring the qualities of beauty and joy and power and conservation and all kinds of great things. And if you've struggled, I see that, Shannon, you've struggled for years to connect with your feminine self. I invite you to call on her. I invite you to tune in to the nurturing, nourishing part of yourself and to honor your true design, to honor who you really are, and to deepen into your relationship. It's a relationship that you develop with your feminine. And yes, Jacqueline, so often the divine feminine will come through our art, through our music, through the creativity that we have. And what sometimes makes me so sad about the world today is that we throw our creativity away, or we push it into the background of our lives because priorities take precedence over our art and our music and our gardening and our dancing and our singing and our simply being in life without any pressure or any need to perform or to prove something or to be something. And so, so creativity is so connected to the feminine. So who else here?
And everybody, I just want to remind you, when you're sharing in the chat, which is wonderful, please make sure that you're sharing with everyone, because you need to change that setting.
Okay.
Because a lot of these are going just to us and we want everyone to see. So change the settings so that it's going to all panelists and attendees.
Right.
We want to see what you're saying. We can see it, but we want everybody to see it.
Well, this is great too, from Sean Pine. Having the feeling that women have been manning up for decades. And oh boy, this is such a big thing. And, you know, in order to succeed, so many women had to assume a more masculine role and get strong and compete in the marketplace and put on a suit. And we made great progress. And I think it was part of the cycle that perhaps we needed to do that. But also, there is a power in your feminine that can bring you great success without sacrificing her at all. And so I think this is a time when we need the women to come into leadership and be their true sacred feminine self. I think part of the reason that a lot of women manned up was that there was an image of the feminine that was weak. And that was the false feminine, that we carry images of a false feminine and a false masculine. But when you get to the true feminine, the true pure feminine, she is a powerhouse. And you can do anything when you have that balance of masculine and feminine. But the world right now needs, I feel, for that feminine to come forward. And the feminine wants to re-enchant this world. And re-enchantment is so important right now. It's important to our survival, because to live an enchanted life is to be enthused about life. And it's to be ignited. To be enchanted is to be in awe and wonder and want to preserve life. And we need that right now more than anything. And the feminine brings that. And yes, it is beyond the stereotypes that we've been given. And let's see, Jean, the womb rights. That is beautiful. It's the womb. It's like we need to be rebirthed by the true divine feminine and allow ourselves to come through the birth canal of enchantment and be reborn as ourselves. And I feel like that's what allowed me to have a more enchanted life. When I talk about that divine design, and I know I tried to bring you into a real quick meditation, but really, truly, we have a divine blueprint. We have a divine design that we were given by the mother, by the Heavenly Father, the Divine Mother. And that is what we are meant to express. And so often in the world, we're conditioned out of being who we really are, and the best parts of ourselves are pushed aside or not even developed. And so I love that idea of rewombing, of rebirthing, of really feeling yourself taking control of your own destiny and allowing yourself to be rebirthed as your true divine enchanted self. So I want to move on. After you connect to your divine feminine wisdom, we could just talk about that the whole time. But a world-renowned author, and one of my favorite ones, is Thomas More. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote Care of the Soul and The Reenchantment of Everyday Life. And he says that, and he is a Jungian psychologist, and there's a lot of Jungian psychologists right now who are jumping on the enchantment and the reenchantment wagon, which I think is so fantastic, because I have felt very alone in my desire to share about enchantment. But it seems to be something that's coming to the forefront right now. But what he says is we can no longer live in a disenchanted world, and that a profound enchanted engagement with life is not a childish thing to be put away with adulthood, but a necessity for our personal and collective survival. So re-enchanting ourselves, finding the wonder in life again, and making wonder be the underlying current of our lives is so important. And this is a funny thing. Some of you may understand or have experienced this, but I am a collage artist. I make all of these beautiful fabric pieces. And in my work, there was something that was developed years ago. It's called Wonder Under. And Wonder Under was like this great thing. It was like this fiber, this web of material that you could use for your fabric collages. And you put it underneath, and then you could sew over it, and it like held everything together. So it was a Wonder Under material. And I think that we need wonder under our lives, that the foundation of our lives can be this wonder underness. And right now, when you're disenchanted, you know what's under everything usually is fear. And so we have fear underlying things. You know, there's this kind of lurking fear. And so wonder is another key to enchantment. Yes, I can give you a definition of enchantment. And I think that, here, let me find some of the things that I wrote here for you. So, an enchanted life. And this is for you, Katie. And I think that one of the ways to recognize enchantment is that your life is filled with well-being, that you start making choices that are supportive to yourself. And Enchanted Life is intuitive, and it embraces wonder. It engages the creative imagination, but it's deeply embodied. It's deeply grounded. You care about life. You care about the ecology. An enchanted life flourishes on work that has heart and meaning and respects in instinctive knowledge and playfulness. An enchanted life thrives on poetry, dance, and song, and it loves the folkloric. It loves the simple and traditional. It respects wild things. It seeks the medicine of plants. And an enchanted life attracts good things to you because you begin to radiate a field of love and beauty that, like attracts like. So if you've had a life of abuse and pain and suffering, the way that you know that things are shifting is that you work on healing, forgiving, and then you move on. And I'm one also that came from an abusive family with a father who suffered from mental illness. And I had a life-threatening illness at a very young age, addictions, so many things. And I didn't realize that what was happening to me was that I was disenchanted with life. I just didn't care anymore. All the magic that, had gone out of my life. So yes, so it's a process to re-enchant your life. And so we need to let go of bad habits, obviously. And with the Divine Mother, as my guide, one of the things that can be frightening about the Divine Mother is she's very clear, she's very powerful, and she might guide you to do things that you don't want to do or that feel challenging to you, because things that are not in alignment that you've created with your true self, you may be asked to change those things, to let them go, to move on. And so living an enchanted life requires a great commitment, and it also requires what I consider the second important key, and that is to have faith. Because, connecting to the divine feminine is one thing. Having faith to follow that guidance was an entirely different thing. And how do you have faith? How do you develop faith? Well, I think I decided to have it. I decided to have faith. It was my decision to put faith into my own inner guidance. You trust yourself and you start to follow that guidance. That's going to take you to enchantment. And when your intention is to go to magic, to go to re-enchantment, that is what the guidance is going to lead you to. If your intention in life is to make $1 million or to, climb Mount Everest, that's what you'll be led to. But my intention was to bring the magic back. And so that's the guidance that I got. And so in order to develop your faith, you need to follow your guidance. And the more that you follow it, then the more you trust yourself. And the more you learn when it's your true heart, it's your true soul, it's your true inner feminine speaking, and when it's not, you know, when it's your mind, when it's your fear. And as you navigate, you know, this very, very tender and beautiful path, you learn to trust, you learn to have faith. And having faith is just so important. And so the only way to really gain faith is to follow your guidance and gain confidence in your choices. And as you do that, you get excited, you get enthused, because suddenly, even though, for instance, in my life, I was asked to get a divorce, sell my house, sell a lot of my possessions, go on the road. I thought it was crazy, and a lot of people thought I was pretty crazy too. But you know, as I did that, I changed, I grew, I developed as the person I really am. And when I was guided to come back into Sedona and into my life, I attracted such great beauty, a beautiful relationship and a home and a work that I love, and the freedom to really be myself. And so, so faith. So let me look here. Pray for faith daily, and it really builds trust. Yes, that's so great, Adam. Thank you for sharing that. Well, I think here's a question from Linda. How does connecting to the divine feminine or the divine mother differ from just working on yourself and using everything you can? No apologies needed, Linda. Well, I don't know. I had done a lot of work on myself. I had been to lots of healers and spiritual paths and meditation, and I got really far, Linda. And you can get really far working on yourself that way. But when I asked for the magic and the divine feminine came in, it added a whole other dimension. And, you know, the divine feminine, can I explain it completely? No, I really can't. All I know is that I have faith that there is a divine feminine presence in this world, and people for thousands and thousands of years have felt her and honored her and cherished her. And when you add that element in, it just deepens everything. And you have an inner nurturing cheerleader with you. And so I would say just you can add that to all the work that you're already doing. And I want to get to the next key that I have this great story about. So, and there's so much that I wanted to tell you, but I'm going to move on because I want to at least get to these things. And so, oh, good. I'm glad, Linda. I'm glad that you could feel it. You know, one of the things about enchantment is it's mysterious and it cannot all be scientifically proven. And part of one of the reasons that disenchantment is so rampant in the world right now is people want proof of everything. And the mystery and the magic has gone out of so much of our lives. We want to know everything. And, you know, this wasn't one of the keys, but this is one of the keys, is stop needing to know everything. You know, we don't need to know all the details of everything. Let some things be a mystery. There's so much beauty in mystery. So here's a little story. So, you know, when you live an enchanted life, and so many of my friends here in Sedona do live enchanted lives. Deborah lives an enchanted life, and so many of the soul adventure practitioners have tapped into this beautiful flow. And that's why I think that we can offer so much to those who come, because we are resonating with that. And so we're transmitting that to you. And what I like to think and what I have noticed is that because I'm a pioneer and I've gone through all this stuff, some of it really hard. You know, one of the things about a pioneer, they break through the brush and the thorns and make a path so that the people that follow, it's easier for you to come through. So I just hope that the road to enchantment will be much easier for you than it's been for me, and that you can take the fast track. So here's a story about an enchanted event. And when you live an enchanted life, you really notice things that happen. So here's a great story that happened recently while I was working on this, this class. I was down in the garden watering where I get some of my best ideas. And the words, I was asking, well, what are some of the keys I could share? There's so many. And a word came up to me. And I thought, oh, wow, that's an interesting word. I haven't really used that much, but that's a great word. I'm gonna write something about it. I'm gonna use it. And as I was writing about it, and the word was savoring. And it's not a word that I use a lot, but it's something I do a lot. You know, it's, I savor my life. And so, so about 2 minutes, 2 minutes after I had written this whole thing about savoring, I got this hit to go and listen to a friend of mine, Dr. James Bruce, who is this very well-known, inspirational, magnificent brother of mine who just is a light in the world. He's on Facebook. He does a daily inspirational blurb, and he just lights up my life. So anyway, so I got a hit to go. So I went, and he's talking, and he's saying, there is something that science is proving that really helps people and is a great breakthrough. And if you do this, you can enhance your life tremendously. And it's savoring. And I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it. He said the word savoring. Now, what are the odds that I'm going to write the word savoring? And 2 minutes later, one of my beloved teachers is going to be sharing a whole video about the importance of savoring life. Gosh, it made me just have so much faith. And this is what faith is built on, is that you start to follow your guidance, even though you're going, why am I doing that? And then these connections happen. And then you're just like, oh, I wouldn't want it any other way. So savoring. So what is savoring? So savoring is simply letting things in. You know, so often we rush through everything. We have a really long list of things to do. And our main goal is to check the things off and to get through them. So do you savor your accomplishment? Do you then take a moment and go, wow, I just made this great soup. This is such good soup. Or, wow, you know, I just spent 15 minutes watering my garden. And look at how happy the plants are, and look how they're smiling. And, you know, I love my garden, and I love the joy it brings to me. And I'm going to just savor this experience. Or your lover comes by and he puts a kiss on your cheek. You know, do you savor that moment? Do you really take it in? Savoring is so important to it in Enchanted Life, because I feel like when you don't savor your life, when you're just rushing through everything, you don't get full. You don't take in the beauty that you've created. And so you need more, and you need to do more and more and more. And you know what? I got really tired of that. I don't want to do more. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I want to savor it. And I want to trust and have faith that there is a benevolent, beautiful universe that wants me to be happy and enjoy my life and bring beauty to the world. And that's a great deal of why it's so important for us to have enchanted lives. And I'll get to that a little bit more in a little while. So savoring, and so who wants to share? Does anyone want to raise their hand? I mean, I'm reading your wonderful comments, and that's great. But if anybody wants to share anything important or unusual about their enchanted lives, or what's going on, or how they're savoring life, maybe.
So we'll go ahead and call on Naomi. She's living an enchanted life right now. Go ahead, Naomi. Take yourself off mute and put there we go. Hi.
Hey there. Hi, Naomi.
You're kind of turned around.
I don't know.
You're sideways. Oh,
there we go.
So I was just listening to you talk, and I'm just like, I'm typing in like, I can't wait to walk into my enchanted life. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I am. Whoa. I'm actually doing that, and I'm like, God, there's so many different elements of connections. And that's so strongly connected to me when I heard you speaking of just watching things that happen around me that don't just happen, where I'm like,
right.
I am losing my mind right now, I'm not, and I can.
Well, can you name something?
Oh my gosh.
Something in particular that was really enchanting to you?
For me, it started, oh God. For me, I guess it could have started so far back, I wouldn't have even really been able.
Give me a recent thing
So,
that lets you know you're in your enchanted life and you're not just going to step into it. What's happening?
So most recently was when, when I was on this site during these master classes, and Deborah just blessed me with some news. Like from that time forward, like to like the last 48 hours, I was outside barbecuing, like I was grilling some fish and vegetables and, living life each day, but taking moments that come in, and I'm standing there and there's just huge, and I took a photo of it. It was mind blowing. It was a massive, huge, what I thought was like an ugly looking moth, like on my back porch. And my daughters were like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like creeping inside my house, and like she tried to hit it. And then seconds later, my daughter said, no, it's a monarch. And I was like, what? And I look it up, and it talks about journey and spiritual connection. I'm like,
oh, beautiful.
And it was like, when I say it was a massive, huge monarch, like I've never seen anything like that close in proximity.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's so great. And I think that's a great example too of that you caught it, that you were present, that you caught, that you saw the monarch, and then you had the wherewithal to look for the symbolism. And that is one of the traits of an enchanted life, is putting meaning to things. Life can be pretty flat and pretty dull and pretty boring if it's just, oh, there was a butterfly, oh, there was a flower, oh. But, when things happen and you find out, wow, this was a sign, this is a symbol of my unfoldment as a human being. This is something magical that just happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
You see the magical moments, and didn't it just make you feel great? Didn't it just
give you, like I actually captured a photo of it, and I videotaped my daughter.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then my youngest saying, it's a monarch in that moment. And I was like,
thank you for sharing. I want to move on because I'm running out of time, but
we're fine. And I just want to say one thing, because it's exactly what you're talking about, Rhianne and Naomi. It's just taking a few moments to stop and be present And
Yeah.
as you said, savoring it, it's just taking a little bit of time to be present and go, oh, wow. And that is what it takes. And that moves you into the mysterious and the magical and everything that you're talking about. It's so perfect.
Thank you.
Just happened. Exciting about the journey of watching it, because days before that I found a full feather as I was walking, and there was like no bird around, and I was just like, what the heck? And I did the same thing. I looked it up, and I have it in my room, and I've kept those things close to me because it's not a random thing, it's a constant thing, and I know it's happening for a reason. I'm excited for more to come. So
that's great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetie.
Love you guys.
See you soon. She's doing her soul adventure soon.
Oh, so that's fantastic. I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Oh, that's
right,
great.
Sweetie. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Love you.
So, so I wanted to share this other thing too, because savoring, you're taking in so much magic. And I think one of the things that I always felt in my life, and one of the things that made it feel less magical, was that I knew I was hungry for something. And I think we're hungry for that savoring. And once we start taking it in, we want more things to savor. We want more magical things. And then we feel more magical. And then our energy is more magical. And then more enchantment comes into our lives. And then it becomes normal. Then it's just like, oh, wow, that was so cool. And James just said savoring, and I just said savoring. And, you know, I am awesome. I'm on the right track. I'm listening to my guidance. So, so then I want to move on to the fourth thing that is a key, and that's imagination. And so in creating an enchanted life, which I think is really important in the world right now, because what's happening around us is that there's a lot of things being created that are disenchanted, that are not enchanted at all. And so there's a lot of people that are in fear and envisioning the worst, and using their imaginations to envision something that we don't want to have happen. And so one of the important things about re-enchanting your life, and, you know, I thought, well, is enchanting your life kind of selfish and self-centered, and, you know, you're not really making a contribution? And I asked the Divine Mother, you know, well, tell me, you know, what's the truth? And what she said to me was that she wants people to love life again. And that is the most important thing that we can do for the world right now, is to dive even deeper into love, deeper into magic, deeper into enchantment, deeper into appreciation, deeper into compassion and tenderness and beauty. That more than ever, re-enchanting your life spreads out and creates like a beacon to the entire world. And you become part of the re-enchantment of our world. And isn't that what we want? And so envisioning a better life, envisioning a beautiful world, you know, full of things that are healthy, that bring wonder and well-being. This is what we need to use our imaginations for. It's a powerful tool of transformation. And the word imagination means to image in. So really, when you imagine something, you are creating it. You are a powerful manifester. Let's see here. What are the keys? Okay, I can maybe we'll put in the keys. I'll do that at the end. And so anyway, for the imagination, I would like to finish our time together just using a little bit of our imagination. So, so I'd like you to close your eyes if you can, and use your imagination. I want you to go back to envision that you're in that beautiful energy field that is your divine blueprint. And I was a little nervous at the beginning, so I really want to re-anchor in that. To me, living an enchanted life is really about getting to be yourself. And I believe that we are all created to be these extraordinary magical beings and to live in harmony with nature and the cycles and the seasons, and that life can be easy. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be a struggle. And so part of that is reconnecting to our divine design, to the divine blueprint of who we are. So take a moment and connect to that. And as you connect to that, I want to take you on a little journey and just to imagine that you're going into an enchanted realm. And I call my enchanted realm, I'm going to invite you into my enchanted realm right now. And my enchanted realm is called Gwynallwood. And Gwynallwood means holy, blessed homeland. And it's a Gaelic derivative word that actually just came to me that I made up, but it's very close to a Celtic word in a Celtic place called Gwynvid. And Gwynvid is the holy land, the magical land that the Celts go to. So Gwynallwood is similar to that. So come with me to Gwynallwood. Just step through a beautiful gate into a garden and come and sit with me in the garden. And here in Gwynallwood, the holy blessed homeland, you are yourself. You are completely who you are designed to be. You are safe, you are whole. None of the past can touch you here. You're among friends. You're in an atmosphere where nothing that does not create wonder and well-being is even allowed. So you're not always struggling or having to make decisions about what's good or what's not good. And here in this beautiful garden, I want you to see someone's coming towards you. And as he or she gets closer, you see that it's you. It's you as your future self. It's you as your higher self. It's you just glowing, brilliant, living a life that is totally in alignment with your highest and your best qualities, with your artistry, with your wisdom and intelligence. And you see that part of you coming towards you, and he or she is just radiating this amazing love towards you, and comes and sits in front of you and takes your hand. And your future self starts to send the energy from his or her heart into you. And all of this love, all of this beauty that you are is being transfused into you. And you get a sense of you start to transform. And the cells of your body start to transform and shift. And everything is shifting in you, aligning you more with your divine design, your divine blueprint. And anything that is not in harmony with your divine blueprint, with who you really are, things that have been imposed on you, ideas and beliefs, conditioning, hurts and sorrows that have grown so large that they overwhelm your design. As your future self is sending energy into you, these things are being just pushed out, pushed away, and absorbed into the surrounding energies where they're being just transformed back into light. And so the future self is helping you to feel what it feels like to just be yourself, to be your enchanted self. And as you are here sitting in this beautiful energy, I would like you to ask your future self if there's a message for you. And also the great thing about the future self is the future self's already connected to the Divine Mother, to the Heavenly Father, to the Devas and the nature spirits, and to all of the benevolent beings and angels. And there are so many dimensions of beauty and help and power that we don't ever even tap into. But here, the future self is transmitting all of this to you. And so all you need to do is connect to your future self, who becomes like your guru, your teacher, so that you can stop seeking and running around and trying this path and this thing and that thing, but that you can sit in connection to your own future higher self and receive the greatest wisdom and love that is possible for you. And so I invite you, if you wish, to open to receive any message that your future self may have for you at this time. And it may come in a picture or a vision or in words or just simply in loving energy. But just take a moment and allow this energy to come into you. And I can feel it just coming into me, and it sparks us. We need this. Our souls need this connection. We need to be re-enthused about living. And the only way that we're going to be re-enthused to create a more enchanted world, to feel more alive, is to connect in with this pure love, to restore the wonder and the beauty, and to know that we are that wonder and beauty. We are enchanted, magical beings at the core. We don't need to try and be anything other than what we truly are. And that's kind of the big joke, is we're trying to change ourselves and figure out who we are, when really what we need to do is just remove these layers that are blocking us from realizing how magical we are. So take another moment, and then I would invite anybody that has something, that a message or experience that they had to share.
And if you would like to, go ahead and raise your hand.
So I'd love to hear from somebody. You can, if you have an experience, or if you'd like to share perhaps how this talk hopefully has inspired you to create a more enchanted life. And if you haven't been to Sedona, I hope it's inspiring you to come here to this enchanted realm, where it's so much easier to tap in to enchantment, because environment is really important. What you have around you really makes a difference to an enchanted life. And so Sedona, that's why I think it's such a great place to really discover who you really are and to have a soul adventure, because you can really get away from all the noise and the clutter of life and really tune in to the beauty of who you really are. So does anybody have anything, or anything you'd like to share?
Yes, people are writing in the chat.
You're writing. So let's see. Yes, well, come and do a soul adventure. It's a life-changing experience. let's see if there's anything else I can answer for you. Well, the keys. So the first key is that I was guided to share with you is connect to your inner feminine, to the great mother, to the divine feminine, however that is for you. That is a very important key to the re-enchantment of your life and of your world, to the feminine qualities, because they're so supportive and nurturing, and yet very powerful and grounded. And so I think the feminine really holds some of the real wisdom that we need to re-enchant our lives. And then the second key that I shared was to have faith. So you develop faith in your guidance. You develop faith in yourself. You develop faith in the world again, in life again. So many people say, oh, life sucks, or life is hard, or I really don't like life. And I feel so bad because I think, well, maybe it's not life that sucks, but maybe the way we're living our lives that really sucks. And so change how you live, and you'll find out that life is an amazing place to be. And so faith is the second one. And then savoring the butterfly and savoring the friendships. We take things for granted. And I think part of that is we just don't savor it. Joni Mitchell, one of my all-time favorites, wrote that song, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what it's got till it's gone. So don't let that be your life. Savor. And then imagination. Don't be afraid to imagine a life that is magical. Imagine a re-enchanted life for yourself. You deserve that. And, I think it's easier now in some ways, even though, yes, these are unprecedented times and things can seem very hard, but I think these are unprecedented times also for us to re-enchant the world, because I think it's driving us to see how disenchanted things are and make a choice. Do you want that for yourself or not? So, so that's it. And I am so glad to have been invited. Thank you so much, Deborah. And thank you everyone for being on the call. I want to read all of your comments. And, 11:11 Mountain Time. I love 11:11. That's another sign. Whenever I see 11:11 in our house, I go 11:11, and I just scream. And it seems so exciting to me that I see 11:11 so often. It's a sign that I'm on the right track. So thank you so much, and much love to you. And I hope you go out and just re-enchant today and every day. Blessings.
Thank you, Rhianne. That was so fantastic. And, I love what you were saying about this is not about you becoming someone else. This is about you getting rid of all these layers, etc., from what is there. And so I love that, because that's exactly what we're doing at Sedona Soul Adventures. We are helping people and literally moving out the blocks and the gunk and all the stuff that's covering up this beautiful thing that is you. And so it's not about you becoming somebody else. That's not sustainable. You can't go back home and then, oh my God, you have to be this other person. No, it's about getting down to who are you really? And then when you're doing that, then it's easy to continue to live your life. You're on mute, sweetie. So if you're going to say something, unmute yourself. Yeah. So
I'm not saying anything. I was just nodding. I was nodding in agreement.
Yes, but it is. I mean, because then it's easy. It's easy for you to continue to just be yourself, and then learning ways of not letting the blocks and the gunk keep on coming back and that sort of thing. So this was so wonderful. And it is about what you're talking about, you know, noticing, being present, just taking that nanosecond to go, oh, wow, yeah, look at that. And to spend some time doing things. And you do live an enchanted life. Your life is more enchanted than mine is, I think. You really are the key. So thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you
sweetie.
so much, Deborah. And any way I can help you enchant your life more, I'm always here for you. 110%.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it.
And thank you for all the incredible work that you're doing in the world and bringing so much consciousness and beauty. You are helping re-enchant this world, Deborah, and I so appreciate all that you're putting into it, your whole heart. So
thank you.
Thank you and
sweetie.
everybody out there who I know there's many of us that are doing the same right now.
Yeah, thank you, sweetie. I'm certainly trying. So thank you so much for being with us. And everybody, thank you for being with us today. And if you would like to talk to someone about doing a soul adventure, you can contact us, set up a time to speak with an angel guide. There's people available now to speak with, or you can set up a time. And then I also want to remind you, we're announcing the Egypt trip for next February tomorrow in our newsletter. I'd love to have you, talk about enchantment. And we'll be taking a little break for the rest of August, but we will be back after Labor Day and back with more wonderful and amazing masterclasses. So go out and spend just a little bit of time adding some enchantment to your life. That's all it takes. It's just a little bit of noticing. So love you all so much, sending you so much love from incredible Sedona. And we'll see you right after Labor Day.